My next guest got his start on TV by competing in the islands of Fiji on Survivor Ghost Island, and now he tested his strategy and gameplay in a whole different arena on the Challenge USA, where he is now the most recently eliminated contestant. So joining me now is Sebastian Noel via Zoom. Sebastian, how are things? How are you feeling after seeing last night's episode?
Yeah, you know what? Life is great always. It really is. It was an honor to be on the challenge. It was so much fun. Watching it back last night, specifically with Chris, I came up here to his hometown of Charleston to watch this episode with him. And it was hilarious. It really was, because we were just so close that whole time. And then we knew we would have to eventually go in there against each other. Of course, we didn't want that to happen, but I think that was fate. You know, we kept on saying it, but it was really cool to watch it with him last night.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get to you and Chris here in a little bit. But first things first, do you feel like your experience on Survivor, or maybe even the tactics needed to do well on Survivor, was overall beneficial to your game being in the Challenge House?
Yeah, I think Survivor directly relates to the challenge. The challenge is basically Survivor with a house, a bed, a shower, alcohol, and food, of course. So I think it's a little bit different for Survivor players than to Big Brother, because it's so similar, these games. The physicality, sending someone home in an elimination is very similar to voting someone out on Survivor. So I definitely used my gameplay from Survivor on the challenge, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can see that you built some really good relationships. So, up until last night's, or maybe 2 weeks ago, it was a team-based game. And so you were a part of the blue team, which was rather triumphant, considering all things, So what would you say it was like being a part of that team up until the individual stage of the game?
Oh my God, dude. Blue, we were beasts. I mean, honestly, thank God I didn't get switched out, because we just had this all-star team literally the entire ride, from the moment Cassidy picked our teams, with Fessy and Tori and Corey and Chris, who nobody really knew who he was, but he was such a powerhouse. And then the girls, I think eventually when it was me, Bananas, Wes, Fess, Tori, Desi, and Cassidy. That was just like, holy cow, you cannot make this up. I was really, really hoping, because they've done it in seasons past where they just run teams all the way through the end. I was hoping to go all the way, because we were just, at that point in the game, we were unstoppable.
Yeah, who knows? You may have been a challenge champion by now. So, okay, so throughout this season, we see a relationship between you and Tori sort of transpire. So did you expect to form a showmance or any kind of relationship on the challenge?
Not at all, dude. I was on Survivor with Jenna, who I dated for 5 years, and actually had a ring and was ready to get married. And then we broke up. And very similar story for Tori with her and Jordan. So we were both like in this mindset where we're just going out here, we're going to compete, we want to keep our head focused, but we couldn't help it, man. We just constantly, all day, every day, flirting with each other. It was awesome. It was totally unexpected. Tori's like my kind of girl, everything I want in a woman she has. And so it was really nice to have that comfort there. And I learned a lot from her, like not just, snuggling at night and flirting all day. But she's beast. Like, she's such a competitor, and I learned so much just from getting so close with her. So it was an honor to play with her. It really was.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to imagine the support goes a long way in the Challenge House. So now you mentioned this earlier, that you're up where Chris lives. So I know that you and Chris are real life friends outside of the show. So I kind of have a two-part question. So first of all, what was it like kind of seeing him put his own game in turmoil in last night's episode? And then what was it like eventually having to go up against him in the elimination?
Yeah, I mean, Chris he was pretty solid throughout the whole season, but he just overthinks things times 500. and that's why we said he was spiraling, because he's talking to everybody, telling somebody this, blah, 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 blah. And it was just, I watched the Survivor season. It was a similar Chris. So I kind of knew it was happening, what was coming. But yeah, just to watch him, he was my best friend out there. So it was kind of frustrating to watch him spin like that. But then we all, he kept on getting thrown in the rings. It was just like he was asking for it. But to go against him, man, it was just deflating, because honestly, we were half the numbers. Survivor was half the numbers when I left. We had 7, and there were 7 other people in the game. So it was kind of frustrating for me to go in against him, obviously. I would have much rather go against any other guy in the house. But yeah, it's kind of deflating to go against him.
Yeah,
sucked.
yeah, absolutely. Now, Sebastian, can we expect to maybe see you again on the challenge somewhere in the future?
Absolutely, man. I'm ready. I'm fresh. I'm young. I'm in the best shape of my life. I want it bad. I want it more. I fell in love with the game. It's kind of like, your professional sport of choice, if you will. So I'm ready to compete, man. If they have me back, which I hopefully they will. And yeah, I'm 100% in, man. I love the game.
Yeah, so we might see you again. Now, I feel like you have this very positive, kind of happy-go-lucky outlook on life. So if there's anything that maybe you learned while in the Challenge House, what would that be?
What did I learn? Wow, I'm always happy-go-lucky, dude. I try to bring the sunshine into everybody's life because what's the point of being sad or mad, man? This is our only life on this planet, and I try to bring love and happiness to everyone, and compete and be physical at that. So I think what I learned on the challenge and in the challenge house was it's pretty serious. Like you want to be as focused as possible, make those relationships, study the way these vets play.
Hmm.
I think I learned a lot from just watching Bananas, Wes, Tori, all these people that have played 55 times before. It's just like amazing. You're literally watching an example of how to play the game while you're in the game. So it was really cool to have those vets with us.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, Sebastian, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for all the insight, and best of luck to whatever's next for you.
No doubt. We'll see you on season 3.